So Over the Hedge for me is a solid animation movie, and even though this movie isn't on the levels of Shrek and Madagascar in my opinion and many others, I do believe it's on like that level just below it, and I think it's still an entertaining and great animation movie. And also, it has Bruce Willis in it.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, in this movie, he ain't shooting people like in Die Hard, and yes, he ain't seeing dead people like in The Sixth Sense. But he's a raccoon.
Animals are in the house.
For me, the story ain't too shabby, and people might argue that the comedy is better than the story, but for me, I think they work hand in hand to make a really entertaining story. As the story is about RJ who steals the food from Vincent at the start of the film, only then to destroy the food and then create one hungry bear because all his food has just been destroyed in front of him. Now he is in debt to a killing bear that's ready to maul him unless he gets his food back within several days before he wakes back up again. So that's what he does. The whole movie then is about him finding the food to give back to Vincent. However, he then settles into like a nearby family with hedgehogs, tortoises, different creatures in this little greenery area in the middle of a housing estate, and since there's a lack of food and they don't know what his real plan is, they just think he's being really nice and finding all this gorgeous food from stealing it from houses and things like that. But what he's doing is gathering this food so that he can take it back up to Vincent so that he doesn't get killed. And to me, that weren't a bad story, because along the way then he has to then decide whether he's going with this family sort of vibe that he's created, and he feels belonged. And he feels like he can trust them and they can trust him. And he feels a sense of like, you know what, this is something that I've always wanted, opposed to that of not wanting to be killed by a fucking bear. So you've got two different contrasting things there that he must decide throughout the film, and I think that was fantastic. I think the best part about the film was RJ and Verne's rivalry throughout the film, and gets resolved by the end of the film and they become close friends. But throughout the film, especially when they first meet, Verne is unsure about RJ. He doesn't get this sense of trust from him, and he feels he's very untrustworthy, and he's a little bit jealous of him at the same time because he's been able to bring this family together even closer as he's using them to, and they're getting all this food so that they can hibernate. And you can see that Verne is jealous of that because his way was just eating tree bark, which was a safe way as well. And Verne didn't like how RJ was using these creatures in the manners they were, because it was dangerous. It could cause problems with the people, and that's how the exterminator comes out in the first place, because of them causing problems within the housing estate, because they were only in this greenery patch by a hedge, hence why the name of the film's Over the Hedge. But I think that was a really steady rivalry, and also the fact that Verne had this gut instinct that something was off about him. And I think that was great because they presented that all the way through the film, and that Verne was proven right at the end because you knew what RJ was going to do. Even though there weren't an abundance of food for the family, hence why they had to steal, there was an abundance of villains. And as we saw about 3 in one film, as we saw Vincent, we saw the exterminator Dwayne, and we also saw Gladys. And all 3 of them rotated around in this film as the villain, and you didn't really need all 3 of them active at once. These little problems would happen in little instances throughout the film and present themselves as threats and as obstacles for the protagonists. And even though they all came together at the end to try to fight the same problem of these creatures, I think it was interesting how they went about putting them in segments, building all 3 characters up, what their purposes for wanting to kill these animals. The ending of Over the Hedge might have been predictable for many of us because we knew the family was going to come together all as one, with RJ joining that group of his new friends, and they would forgive him for trying to take all this food to Vincent after making them go through these dangerous sacrifices of stealing this food for him. And I think, yeah, just a good ending. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button because you do not want to miss a thing. This week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favor by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarize, this animation movie is a 7.7 out of 10 and a great film. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Do you love this film, hate it? Let us know all that jazz down in the comments down below, and if you haven't done so yet, check out our video on Ant's movie review.